Hi, Pittsburgh. So there's been a lot of conversation. There's been a lot of anxiety. There's been a lot of anger that's been spread across the city, across this country. And that's not the way we do it in Pittsburgh. So we're here today for one simple reason. That where there's hate, we are going to show love. Where there is darkness, we are going to show light. And where there are people that are feeling upset and scared, we're going to give them security.
To Mayor Peduto and all elected officials, and to you, ladies and gentlemen, everybody from everywhere, thank you for coming on this beautiful day for this very, very special occasion. You know, in my many travels across this country, when I'm introduced from Pittsburgh, I always tell people about we're the city of three rivers. The Monongahela to the south, the Allegheny to the north, and they come together and kiss and give birth to the Ohio River. That is symbolic of where we are in this current place in our history, not only in Pittsburgh, but in our nation. Regardless of being one to the north and one to the south, we are much better when we come together. And the Allegheny and the Ohio create a river that is longer than the two of them, which runs down to the mighty Mississippi. And so that's why we're here today, to bring our forces together against hate.
And people of Pittsburgh, Western Pennsylvania, hello. Well, I don't know how many of you have gone through the airport. When you go through the airport, there's this statue in the airport. Now, have people taken pictures by that statue? Maybe a couple of you. Well, I took a picture at the airport also, but I took it next to my hero, George Washington. And that's my screensaver, me and George Washington. And I think about those times where, you know, when you think about George and Betsy Ross, you know, when she was knitting, not the terrible towel. Come on, guys, I know you think. But, you know, our wonderful flag and a symbol of our country. You think about our country and you think back then when, during those days, George Washington, there's a lot of turmoil, a lot of things going on. But they kept progressing. And throughout our history, there's always been a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff all the time. And you think about our country, you look at it, and hey, it basically started with, you know, the Indians here. And hope that's not a message cut me out. But then the, you know, English, the Germans, the French, the Spanish came, and then after that, you know, the slaves, and then all people from Europe and around the world started to come. Even amongst all of, we think we have problems, people still want to come here. They still come here from all over the world. And every new wave brings new hope. And it just, through all our problems, through all the things that we face through all these years, we're the greatest country in the world. We're able to overcome all these problems, all these things, all these inner turmoils that we have. We keep moving forward because we always have hope. People always bring their hope and their vision of the future. So I just want to get back to George and Betsy Ross. When, you know, this flag means so much. Now look at, you know, my father, World War II, and my mom from Italy over there. It was rough. And a number of your parents or grandparents fought in wars to protect this flag and like for this flag. And there is only one flag here in America. Only one. No foreign flags and no foreign powers. There's no doubt that people are trying to cause, they know they can't get us from without, so they try to get us from within. That's what they're trying to do, tear us apart from within. but this flag will keep us together.
We can care for one another even when we don't agree with one another. It's about what it means to be neighbors. And we in the city of Fred Rogers know about neighbors. We know neighbors should celebrate their traditions and do so in ways that make everyone from every neighborhood welcome. And so, for instance, some of us, even though our ancestors may not have been German, might enjoy participating in Oktoberfest next month, when German culture is celebrated with brass bands, beer, and a sign of healing. And this kind of reconciliation shows America at her best. However, if someone proposed celebrating German heritage with Nazi flags and a reenactment of the Nuremberg rallies, virtually everyone would be horrified. Nazism is an evil ideology that declares some people are unworthy of life and is directly responsible for the death of millions of people in concentration camps, on battlefields, and in the rubble of war. So there is a difference, a world of difference between celebrating a cultural heritage and promoting an evil cause that once festered in that culture. And our nation is still struggling to emerge from criminal inequality born in slavery, raised in segregation, and that still taints our best vision of America. But no matter what anyone says or does to deny it, in God's eyes, we are all equal, all of us. And speaking to the deepest divisions of the society in which he labored to spread Christianity, the Apostle Paul wrote it this way: "There is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither slave nor free person, there is not male or female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus." And Pope Francis said, "The problem of intolerance must be confronted in all forms. Wherever any minority is persecuted and marginalized because of its religious convictions or ethnic identity, the well-being of society as a whole is endangered, and each and every one of us must feel effective. Racism wounds us all. Let us then come together as neighbors. Let us counter hatred with love, and let's show how much good we can do when we are united in our response to evil."
This week, Jews all over the world will be reading from the book of Deuteronomy. And in English, we'll read a verse that says, "See, I have set before you this day life and good, and death and evil." Our tradition teaches that free will is given into the hands of each and every human being. So Pittsburgh, we can choose evil and death or life and good. And because this is Pittsburgh, we know that we will choose good. We'll choose to teach our children. We'll choose to teach our children that we were all created in the image of God, and that we should be judged, as Dr. King said, by the content of our character. We know that racism and anti-Semitism and all other forms of hatred, they're all evil. And so we in Pittsburgh will choose the opposite. We choose good. So take a look at your hands. In Hebrew, one hand is called a yad, another hand is called a yad. We put those together. We have the Hebrew word for friendship, yedidut. It's a beautiful idea. When we put our hands together, there's a lot that we can do that we can't do on our own. And so what a beautiful thing it is to be here. I really thank the mayor for making this happen today. Our ancient Jewish sages asked a question. They said, if not now, when? They were talking about when will we make things right. The answer is today and every day. We, you and I, choose to stand up and fight against hatred, and we choose to do it together, yad b'yad, hand in hand, yedidut, in friendship.
If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment or place in time again. If not now, tell me when. I see sorrow and trouble in this land. I see sorrow and trouble in this land. Although there will be struggle, we'll make the change we can. If not now, tell me when.
We are the leaders we've been looking for, right? So this fight is not going to be something that people can say that I'm out of, right? This isn't my fight, this is somebody else's fight. Inaction is no longer acceptable. For this to change, for the situation to change in this country and around the world, everybody kind of has to take it upon themselves to change themselves to improve society. If we want peace, thank you. And at the end of the song, I think it said that we need a change of heart to get what we need. And if we want peace, it starts with individually changing how we are. And to focus, one thing that I've really reflected on, the first thing I felt whenever I heard about the incidents in Charlottesville and everything else that's been happening recently and for the last several years, is immediately a sense of anger about what happened. And the fact that this cannot continue to happen. How can this be another day where I open my phone and here's another update about some terrible thing, whether it's in the United States or Yemen or Syria or India or whatever, it's always some bad news, and I just get angry at the perpetrators, right? And in this particular country, in our instance, if I kept that anger, and to me, you know, in Islam, this anger is a disease of the heart. You know, it's corroding, it's not good for anybody. And if you keep that anger, and we kind of make it that it's a zero-sum game, and it's me and half the country versus the other half of the country, and we have to fight, and we have to win in order for us to get anything, and they have to lose, right? And that zero-sum game, nobody wins. There's no way for all of us to benefit that way. What we really have to focus on is kind of building our community together, bringing everybody together. People who are white supremacists, people who are spewing this terrible ideology right now, it's difficult for me to come up with the compassion for them that I need to, but my religion demands me to have. But I understand the value of getting there and working to get there and getting this anger out of my heart, which is corrosive, and putting love in it and understanding that what they're saying, that pain comes from somewhere. It's not like they made it up. And I don't believe, because the fitrah in Islam, the natural soul that we have, I don't believe it tends towards hate. So I don't believe that supremacy and that hatred and everything is actually in their heart. They're just in pain and they're acting out in whatever way that their group says is right. So what we need to do is bring that together, that strong emotion, and build something together as a community. The American dream cannot be fulfilled by one group or two groups. It's by everybody together, and not just the groups we like. And the reason, because I gotta finish, the reason I pray for personal strength and all of us to have strength and courage to move on, especially, is that this seems very daunting. It's hundreds of years in this country of institutional, personal hatred of side against side, and how do we possibly move forward? And to do that, one thing I wanted to remind everybody of is that these barriers are man-made. These are invented. These differences, these nuances between us have become a chasm because of uncompromising ignorance. So we have to educate each other. We have to come together. And wherever these barriers that are man-made are, we can break them down, and we will break them down. And in their place, And in the place of those barriers that we break down, as all Pittsburghers should appreciate, we got to build these bridges. So.
Thank you, Pittsburgh. I can't tell you how proud I am to live in this great city, and I want to thank you for the privilege you've given me to represent you down in Washington, D.C. You know, here in Pittsburgh and across our country, we have to say no to hate and intolerance. We have to say no to hate and intolerance. And I know it's been said many times today, but only love can conquer hate. Only love can conquer hate. Let's say it. Only love can conquer hate. So the message Pittsburgh has for our country and for the world, regardless of your color, your religion, your sexual orientation, regardless of who or what you are, in Pittsburgh, you are welcome. Let's say it, Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh, you are welcome. In Pittsburgh, you are welcome. In Pittsburgh, you are welcome. God bless Pittsburgh. God bless our country.
As many of us have already said, and speakers have already said, the tragedy of Charlottesville and our president's subsequent responses are really beyond words. I believe in thinking forward. Maybe it's because I'm an artist. I'm a dreamer at heart. But dreams, as I'm sure you know, take actions. I'm also the mother of a 7-year-old, and I'm here today, rather than in my office writing grant proposals, because I'm thinking about her and her future and her existence in this world that we live in, this place we call America. The thing is, history is important. It's here, it's important. Some folks want to go back, though. They want to take us back. We're not going. We can't go. It's about the future, the future, the future. Today, starting today. And I understand that we as individuals, and there are lots of different types of individuals here, many categories, professionals, politicians, experienced leaders, all of us. And we don't have the same interests all the time. And often, I think, we might even have competing interests. But we've all got the same stake in a healthy, happy, prosperous, loving community. The thing is, and this sign says it, when we think of where this love and community comes from, we often look to the leaders amongst us. We say it's their job. They've got to get it together. What are they doing? What are they not doing? We've got to think of ourselves. It starts with us. And it's easy to identify the extraordinary people. Harriet Tubman, everyone knows. Frederick Douglass, Fannie Lou Hamer, and lots of names. We can go on and on. From the Urban League and the NAACP to Black Lives Matter. But the heroes, those heroes aren't the only heroes we should be thinking about. There are heroes amongst us, all day, every day. Our parents, our grandparents, aunts, uncles, neighbors, friends. And if we want this city to get beyond rhetoric, and you all know the rhetoric, life, liberty, love, we're a city of resilience, innovation. If if we want to actually be those things, to make them real, we've got to practice. We've got to practice. And the practice starts with a plan. A plan that guarantees that all of us Pittsburghers, black or white, Asian, LGBT, all of the identity categories, whatever we believe or don't believe, it all starts with a plan that guarantees that we are equipped to pursue and live in this community as we're meant to be. As we're meant to be, as God intended, or whomever you believe in intended. So at KST we have a saying, I don't have my shirt, but we have a saying at the Kelly Strayhorn Theater, and it says, together we build community. Did y'all hear me? Yeah. Together we build community. I'm sweating because I'm not used to speaking. Together we build community. So we're going to say it together. Together we build community. Say it like you mean it, people. Together we build community. Thank you. God bless you.
Brothers and sisters, I promise I'll be brief. What an amazing day. What an amazing day. But to tell you a quick little story, on my way here, when I was slowly getting my mind together, my 8-year-old come sat next to me. She said, "Dad, where you going?" And I was tying my tie. I said, "Well, Daddy's going down to participate in a rally for peace today." And at that time on the news, there was some segments that she questioned. She said, "What is that?" I said, "That's exactly what we're fighting against." And she said to me, "Dad, God taught me that if these people learn to hate, they can be taught to love." And I said, "You know what, baby? That's exactly what we're trying to do right now." Organized labor. It's a relatively new word. You know, we hear the word bargaining unit. We try to become more sophisticated. But the true word that defines this labor movement, one word: union. A union is made up of a collection of people for the message of solidarity. What a beautiful thing that you can join together where your strength is just not in numbers, but in your diversity. That's a great thing. And I'm proud to say that we've been fighting for generations after generations for the equal respect of all. Not just a better life, not just the right to have a spot at the workplace, but a right to say what you want to do and what you believe and participate in this great democracy. One last statement before I pass the mic. Not only am I a labor leader, but I am a proud veteran of my country. The most cherished aspect of our democracy is the right to say what we think and to assemble peacefully. Is it not, brothers and sisters? But when you make the mistake of dripping hate under disguise of our democracy, you dishonor every veteran that has fallen for that right. So in closing, my brothers and sisters, and I use that as a true term of endearment, because that's the way I feel right now. Rev, that's because you got me wound up. You got me wound up, Rev. But our country has seen this before. We learned about it in the history books. We've been down this road before, and we survived. We survived together. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Thank you.
2 days ago, I got a message from a mom who lives in East Liberty, and she said her son was going to a birthday party in Mellon Park on Saturday, and she needed to know, "Mayor, please let me know he's going to be safe." I don't want him to see people with swastikas. I don't want him to have to walk past somebody wearing a hood. And I had to worry about whether I could tell that mom, yeah, he'll be okay. But this is the way that we make sure that it is okay. We come together, we put away those differences, and we believe in each other. And we understand that in the course of an hour and a half, you can turn fear into a feeling of belief. During this last 1 hour and a half, Steve Bannon resigned from the White House. Thank you for being Pittsburgh. Thank you for praying. In whatever way that you pray, miracles do happen.
Everybody say, I'm gonna let it light. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Come on, everybody say, this little light. Oh, this little light. I'm gonna let it shine. Everybody, this little light. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine. All over Pittsburgh, all over Pittsburgh. Hey, all over Pittsburgh. I'm gonna let it shine. Everybody say, all over Pittsburgh. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All in my neighborhood, all in my neighborhood. I'm gonna let it shine, all in my neighborhood. I'm gonna let it shine, hey, all in my neighborhood. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. One more time, this little light of mine, this little light. Put your hands together. I'm going.
Well, I'm here because of the fact that because of all the craziness that has been going on in the world. The bombings in Minnesota, the death of an innocent person standing up for against racism in Charlottesville, Virginia, and the most recent terrorist act over in Spain. We want to encourage people to come together, to work together, to find ways of peacefully coexisting. Because the thing with violence against violence, it hurts all of us. And the one thing I wanted to point out with the shirt, it says you can make a difference. Whether you're an individual or a person working with a group, we all have to learn to work together, coexist together, and also believe that we can make a difference. My name is Gregory Overson from Pittsburgh, PA. Some folks call me the Free Hugs guy. A friend calls me Hug Master G, a lovely girl named Gypsy Red. Long story about that one, I'll share some other time.